Hi, Swerve. Contest your best son, Fightful. Congratulations on your win tonight. Just want to know what your initial reaction was when you found out about Keith Lee's injury. Obviously, that's a match that fans have wanted to see for a long time, and we thought we were going to get tonight. And now with Keith Lee being unable to compete, looks like we're going to have to wait a little longer. So I just want to see what your initial reaction was.
It was quite unfortunate. I'm done waiting though. Like, I don't wait on anybody. For me, I've been waiting for a while now, and now I have my sights set on something else, and that's championship gold. So either Keith's gonna have to work harder than ever in 2024 to reach me at that point, or reach to the championship, or do something. But I'm not waiting on anybody, and if the match happens, he's gonna have to work hard to get to me at this point.
Hey, Swerve. First time, long time. Rich Stambolini, Mad Men Podcast. What's the first thing that goes through your mind in the morning, and what's the last thing that goes through your mind at night?
In the morning, I have a lot of things to accomplish. First thing is just like working on how to improve myself. What can I do to start my day to improve and get to the next level? That's not just a physical thing, that's just not a career thing, that's a mental thing as well. My mental has to be on 12, 15, 20 different things all at the same time, you know, so I'm always looking to improve. And then last thing I'm like honestly going through my mind is just like how do I make a change, whether it's in my life, whether it's in my career, my job, AEW, like music, podcasting, or whatever I'm going to do next. I want to try to always make an impact and a change and do something unique that nobody else is really doing, and that's unique to me.
Rob, USA Today Sports Media Group, what kind of timeline do you think you have to get to the AEW World Championship in 2024?
Timeline-wise, it starts tomorrow, truth be told. Like, whatever it is, however long it's going to take, I'll just know it's going to start tomorrow. Like, that's what I wake up for. Tonight, I felt like my time was wasted. And my time is very valuable to me. And as Dustin Rhodes could see that, he paid for that because he got in my way. I spent 2 months in the Continental Classic going after championship gold, and I was like, hey, I was the one that got pinned the least in the entire tournament. The only one that took one pin in the entire tournament, full of like aces of not just AEW, but in the entire industry. And that says something to me. That says that I'm worth something. And that says that my time is worth something. So Dustin trying to be the noble guy and come up and step to me like that, he had to pay for that. That goes to show the world like I'm not playing anymore. 2024 is where things get direct. No subliminal shit, it's direct. And I'm standing on that.
Question over here. Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. It's a two-part question, one for Swerve, one for Tony. First question for Swerve is, you started at the end of last year, obviously pretty much breaking up with Keith Lee and going as a single with mobile affiliates, and then obviously merging to the mobile embassy. Kind of reflect a little bit on this year when you kind of started from here to where you are now, where basically people are saying that you are the guy. Basically, that you're ready to be the guy in this company. And then the second question I had just for Tony in regards to the Keith Lee injury. Can you just talk about the process of, because he did post on Twitter that he wanted to go and he was going to try to go, and then about an hour later it turned out no, you guys did it clear. What is the process in regards to the doctors and obviously the staff to basically take the decision out of the wrestler? Because I'm pretty sure Keith wanted to wrestle tonight.
Absolutely.
But it's a situation where you guys took it out of his hands.
That was the case, and it resulted in changes, and it was big for Dustin to step up because I think the fans really wanted to see a great match. Dustin helped deliver it, but also I think the fans, it was very obvious the fans wanted to see Swerve wrestle, and that is something that fans are paying to see, which is really bodes well for AEW. It's been a great year for us, and he's been a huge part of it. I think Keith absolutely did want to wrestle. there is a process there, and it involves a doctor examining the wrestler every time before they go out and wrestle, but also keeping in touch with them during the week. And Keith mentioned he got injured in his match at Final Battle. He had a great match with Shane Taylor, a hard-hitting match in Dallas at Final Battle. And then after that, Keith had gotten back in the ring and had a great match with Brian Cage. Did a great number on Collision. And I was really excited, of course, like Swerve said, he's red hot. And with Swerve having the best record of all coming out of the Continental Classic in terms of wins and losses, but not actually being in the Continental Classic final based on how the league finals played out, I thought it made sense to have this great resolution. Talk about World's End, it was something people wanted to see, and the timing was right, and Keith had really been getting it going on Collision. And I thought it was going to be a true collision of sorts to have Keith Lee and Swerve, but Keith today, when he went in to see the doctor, his injury had gotten worse during the week, and really it was worse than it was after the Shane Taylor match, and it was worse than it was before or after the Brian Cage match. The swelling had gone up, and with the swelling being what it was, the doctor didn't feel comfortable clearing Keith, so it's a tough call, but the doctor did what he thought was right, and I respect the medical team's decision. And I thought it was still big for Swerve to go out there and get that massive reaction and inflict a lot of violence, which is what people wanted to see Swerve do.
In regards to your question about earlier this year, I adapt and I overcome. It's been military instilled in me, and that's something I live and die by. Like, things ain't always gonna go my way, but I'm still here because things don't always go my way, and I figure it out anyway. Things don't go my way in AEW, I figure it out anyway. Things don't go my way in life, I figured it out. And that's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm still growing. Anybody that keeps trying to say that I'm not the one that should be in the position that I am, or anybody has any doubts or this won't happen, I save all that because I always figure it out. I'm smart enough, I'm talented enough, I'm unique enough, and I built myself from ground up, and I've always figured it out.
Questions for Swerve?
Graham Matthews with Bleach Report. Swerve, first for you, just talking about the reaction that you got tonight, massively favorable. Considering throughout most of the year you've been rejecting the fans, now kind of accepting the fans. Talk about your standpoint as far as are you accepting the newfound fan support, or do you not really care about it too much? And then for Tony, talking about the Keith Lee match, mentioning earlier that he was injured at Final Battle against Shane Taylor. He had mentioned in his tweet that he was injured initially last year at the September Grand Slam event. Was it an injury that was re-aggravated or a different injury? Just talking about that process a little bit.
Well, Keith's been working through an injury, which is why he hasn't been on sometimes on TV the weeks we wanted to have him there. And again, just speaking to that injury, without disclosing too much of his personal information, like he said, he's been dealing with an injury. It's been sticking with him for a while, and he's had some really hard-hitting matches lately against some big competitors. This was obviously one he had said he really wanted, and I think he clearly came looking for a fight today, but the doctors just didn't feel comfortable given, again, the swelling and where it was at, that he'd be out there for the match. I think, like you said, Swerve, and I've let him certainly speak at length to this, the crowd certainly has built a very powerful connection with him, and it's really something telling, and it's not at all unexpected because this company at Revolution 22, we were just in Orlando, and this past week, the league finals took place in the same building where Swerve first arrived and signed his AEW contract at Revolution 22, and it was actually the very first thing I said when I saw you, and it meant a lot, and this company really believes in you, and we've certainly been rewarded. Thank you.
And from what you were saying, the people believe and they feel me, and regardless of what I do, they feel and understand everything that I do. They know they're not going to get anything cheap out of me. Nothing about me is cheap. And I feel like the fans felt sometimes things aren't delivered in a very fulfilling way. And I fulfill everything. Whether they like my methods or not, they understand and they feel me.
Hi, question for Tony about Swerve's opponent tonight. Can you clarify the status of Dustin Rhodes with AEW? I know back in 2022 he was talking about wrapping up by the end of 2023. Then there were some reports that he might be extended through 2024. Where does Dustin Rhodes stand with AEW?
Dustin's a great part of AEW, and Dustin volunteered to step up and do this, which I thought stepped up in a major way for us, and really, I thought it showed what a great company person Dustin is. Dustin's a great part of AEW, both in the office. Dustin's a great coach to the women and men in AEW, and a great wrestler. And even though that was a hard-hitting battle, I think everybody, even Swerve, has a lot of respect for Dustin. He's a great part of what we do here in AEW. So very fortunate to have him, and I thought it was big for him to step up and still give the fans that violent spectacle from Swerve people have come to expect.
I respected Dustin for years. Like, he's part of one of the first tape studies I've ever done when getting into this business. I respect the hell out of him for what he's done and what he's been doing in AEW. That doesn't mean that he can't get that either. He can't get worked on either by me. It's either him or me. And now it's either him or the championship. So don't stand in the way of my championship.
Questions?
Torres contra Lona. Obviously, the fans' reaction has been great tonight. We saw that, but also you have had great matches. For example, last month at Full Gear was amazing. Tonight as well. New Year's resolution 2024 for you.
First African American AEW World Champion.
Tyler, Fox 5. So you mentioned a lot about figuring it out as we go and things not necessarily going as planned, but we've already heard a lot of talk about going future into 2024 with the Wembley show coming up. All things put aside, titles put aside, if you had your pick of your one-on-one match you want going into Wembley, who do you got?
If I had to go into Wembley, my honest pick, I still want my win back from Bryan Danielson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.